All right, let's talk about your teenagers and planning for the future. A lot of you have just pulled your teenagers out of high school and are wondering what to do with them now. And many of you have been homeschooling for a while, but let me talk about teens. I've had five teenagers. My youngest now is 13 years old, and we have been through all kinds of different situations for our teens. And here's what I've learned over time. You get to have all this knowledge that I've learned the hard way, okay? First of all, before you start assigning your kid, okay, you just got out of high school. So you pulled them, and very likely they've been through quite a bit of trauma. I don't know a kid who's been through public school who hasn't had some form of trauma, and you might even be pulling them because of that trauma, bullying, whatever that might be. So, number one, the first thing you need to do for your high schooler is back off. Now, hear me out on this. You don't want to get them right into a curriculum. And here's why. Your child has just been pulled from the enemy lines to his safe house. And if you immediately turn the safe house to mix with enemy lines, now he's confused and he's lost his safe house. So you have to make sure that he understands this is still the safe house here. You make sure that they're getting the sleep they need. Teens need to sleep. They need to sleep in. Do not get frustrated with your teenager who's sleeping in because they're going through a growth spurt. You can't see it, but they are. Teenagers, especially teenage boys, are kind of worthless between the ages of 12 and 14 because their bodies are growing so fast, their brains shut down. So they really struggle learning new things. They need to sleep a lot more, girls too. And you have to adjust accordingly. You have to back off a little bit. You have to be patient. I promise you, they do grow out of it. Okay. They do. I promise. All five of my kids, they grow out of it. They will come out and all of a sudden be alive again and want to learn again. And that's when you hit it. Now, this requires a lot of patience from mom and dad. It does because we think they're going to be lazy and we're worried that they're learning bad habits. And what if this? They're not. They're teenagers and they need your patience and love. So, what you're going to work on is their sleep, their diet, and their exercise. Believe it or not, those three things are the most important thing you can do for these teens as they're growing and growing through these. This is a great time for health education to help them learn how to weightlift, to do whatever sport they're in, to take on some form of physical education, showing them how important the diet is as they're doing this, that the protein builds the muscle, that the sugar is not helping. Right? This is a great time for this kind of science, okay? Because they need it, they're applying it, they see the difference. It's a great time to show them that when they eat these things, they feel like this, that their anxiety and depression is led and controlled, excuse me, by their diet and by their exercise and their sleep. And so there's a lot of focus in that area at that time. If they have been through trauma, they might need a therapist. So make sure you've done that. Give your child grace at this time. They are going from baby to adult. Their bodies are out of whack. Their brains are depressed and confused. And if they're not getting the sleep and food they need, it doesn't matter what you do. You can't help. So make sure those things are done first. Okay. Remember, we're not teaching subjects. We're not getting them into college. We're raising whole human beings and we want them whole. So first thing you're gonna do is work on making them whole. And whatever that means for you and your family, peace is what they need most. So work on that. When your child is feeling whole, then they will be ready to educate because they'll beg for it. They'll ask for it. A healthy child craves education, craves progress. If they're not craving progress, they're not craving education, they're not whole. Find the holes and get the help that they need. Okay. Now, um, the decisions you're going to make for these kids, or you're not going to make them, the decisions they're going to make for themselves is where they want to be. Not all kids should go to college. I do believe that a child should, well, a child and a parent before making that decision should decide who they want to be in the future and what is the investment versus return. Just like any business. If I go to college and I'm going to spend 100 grand on an education, will I make 100 grand when I get out? Or am I making 20? So it's the same thing as a business. You don't invest $50,000 only to see a return of 20. You invest $50,000 for a return of $500,000. It's a business concept. And so we do this math with our kids. What do you want to be when you're older? What sounds good to you? We do the research. We sit down with them and say, okay, your education's going to cost this. You're going to get paid this when you're done. 10 years down the road, you're going to get paid this. Is it worth it? Is your investment of time and money worth your end result? And before they choose those careers, we do this math with every thought they have and talk it out. Now, some of our kids, my husband is a NASA engineer. We love his degree. We're so grateful for his degree. And if I have children who want to do something like that, by all means, they should be in college. We have one child in college right now. Now, we have another child who decided she did not want the college route. She wanted to be a massage therapist. So she went the trade route. Trade routes can be accessed at the age of 16. There is no reason to even do high school after the age of 16 if your child already knows who they want to be. Trade schools take them at 16. They can get started on their career and be out and working and making good money by the time they're 18 years old or interning with someone. So don't waste their time. Kids know when their time's being wasted. They don't need to waste their time filling in somebody else's box for transcripts. Okay. Let them move on. Now, you're going to have kids who want to be entrepreneurs. Great thing to do if you find the right place to do it. The worst place to learn how to be an entrepreneur? College. Colleges do not have entrepreneurs running their entrepreneur programs. I have several entrepreneurial siblings who have studied entrepreneurship in college, and they have said it was the biggest waste of time and money they ever had. The best thing they did was intern with another entrepreneur or just start the business on the side while they worked something else and learned as they went. That's really the best thing you can do as an entrepreneur. If you're looking for resources for kids who want to be entrepreneurs, I'm working on that list right now. And in a teenage area, I've got books for them to start reading so they can at least get started and people for them to be following so they can get the interest. And I've got that, by the way, let me show you where that is. Those books, and I just realized I got a couple I need to list. Go to the menu, scroll all the way down to the side, go to file cabinet. Okay, this file cabinet has a lot of these types of resources. I think it's that file cabinet. Let's see. Scroll down. I told you guys we got a lot of stuff in here. And I would apologize, but I don't. Books recommended by age. And I think I need to put this in a new area, but for now, we have required reading. These books are required reading for my children that I am encouraging them to read before they go out on their own or at some point. These are all books that most entrepreneurs have read at one point or another and understand. I'm adding new books in all the time. I actually have a couple right now I need to go in and put in. But even if you did nothing else for your high schooler, especially entrepreneur businessmen, these books are vital for their education. Okay, so you can come in here, click the link. I put the link in Amazon on all of those so you can get those yourself. I recommend you own them. They need to be able to read them and mark them up. Okay. Um, so many options for teenagers. I don't have the answer that the public school has. I don't believe teenagers need to go to high school. I think that the education has been down so badly that now college level is high school level, and our children are smarter and they're tired of being treated like they're dumb. And the smart kids are willing to work for it. So, depending on their path, find out which path they're on. Look at which would be the best for them. Ignore the world. They need a diploma. No, they don't. I did have one experience where my daughter wanted to do the massage therapy. We applied for her in there. She was the youngest applicant ever because she was homeschooled and not going to high school. And they told me no. They said she doesn't have a diploma. I said, yes, she does. I explained she's homeschooled. And it was private, guys. I was private paying these people. And at first they said no. So I explained the situation. They're like, well, we don't know what to do with that. Sorry. I said, give me the owner. So I got the name of the owner, called him and explained the situation and that homeschoolers nowadays are like these. And I told him, I said, I promise you she'll be the best student you ever had. Not to mention, I'm paying cash. So if you'll go in and do that, and he's like, look, it is massage therapy. As long as she's 18 when she graduates, I will approve it. But he said, if this works and she does well, I'm open this to all the homeschoolers. And if she doesn't, well, now I know. I said, that's fair. Let's do it. We made a deal. She got in and she was one of their best students ever. Why? She didn't grow up being worried about tests and exams. She just aced them all because it wasn't a big deal. So there are always ways to get around things. My children would be asked in a job interview, or can you bring your diploma? And she'll say, I'm homeschooled. Do you have a problem? Or not, they didn't say, did you have a problem with that? But they would say things like, I'm homeschooled. I don't have a diploma, but I can prove to you that I'm a hard worker. And they were hired. It wasn't a big deal. So teach your kids to stand up for that, to speak up a little bit. It's okay to tell an employer that he doesn't need your diploma. You'll prove yourself. That in itself will impress them so much, they'll get the job. So if you have more questions about high schoolers, this is my favorite topic. We are currently working here in my homeschool village on some live courses where our kids can be able to debate some more, talk some more, and I do have many more resources for you and putting those together for you now. But in the meantime, if you do insist on uh, high school, use study.com. That's all you need. Study.com and Type C. Make sure you're using Type C for all the coding, the technology skills. They will need that. Okay. So if you're gonna do high school anyway, and that's fine, do study.com and Type C. Those are the main, biggest, get you ready for real life programs that we have. If they are going college bound, click the link below, get smarter by 1 degree instead. Yes, I'm telling you to leave my homeschool village or just sign them up there if you want. If you're going college bound, Smarter by 1 degree is a company that is not included with my homeschool village, but I highly recommend them because they have taken study.com. They're the ones, the woman who owns it is the one who actually helped study.com be better for homeschoolers. And then she took it and got study.com and got universities to accept the credit. So people are getting bachelor's degrees in 1 to 3 years, 1 to 2 years instead of 4, and they're able to move on faster. So if you want college bound, click the link below and sign up with Smarter by 1 degree. If you want entrepreneurship bound, go get the books that I signed up in there, get them started reading there, and we'll get some entrepreneur classes going. And if they are blue collar bound, go get them in your local junior college instead. If you have questions, let me know.